Most people have no real idea where they stand financially. You might think you do, but when you look closely at your own reality, it's easy to get confused, even misled. You wonder, am I ahead or falling behind? You glance at friends, family, or colleagues and assume you can judge where they are, but appearances are deceiving. The truth about money is rarely obvious. It doesn't live in a single bank account or paycheck. It's hidden in everyday choices, habits, and patterns you might not even realize. We all carry assumptions about wealth, success, and progress, but those assumptions are almost always skewed. So where do you really stand? Not what your salary says, not what your friends seem to have, not what society tells you to aim for, but the truth based on the subtle signs that reveal your financial reality. In this video, we're going to break down the key factors that determine your actual financial standing. No fluff, no bias, just the real indicators that show whether you're ahead, behind, or in a stronger position than you might have ever even realized. Keep watching until the end for a surprising twist. You'll see that real financial security looks nothing like most people expect. Let's start with little disruptions that reveal your underlying financial habits. Your car needs new tires, your water heater breaks, or your phone stops working unexpectedly. If you feel stressed and scrambled, that's normal. But if you handle these situations without sparking chaos, it's a strong indicator of stability. Maybe you pull from a dedicated account or move money around logically. Stability isn't about avoiding problems, it's about your response. Social obligations offer another clue. A friend or family member has a major life event, wedding, milestone birthday, or they have a baby. Do you immediately stress about the gift, calculate how it affects your budget, or feel guilty if it costs too much? Or do you pick something meaningful within your means and enjoy the occasion? Managing these obligations without anxiety can sometimes show more about your financial health than your account balance does. Lifestyle choices matter too. Has your income grown without your spending matching it step for step? Perhaps you avoided upgrading your car, renting a bigger apartment, buying things you're only going to use once. This margin creates breathing room and flexibility, allowing you to make choices without constant pressure. Next, consider reliance on your paycheck. What happens if it doesn't come on time? Could you still cover rent, bills, and food, or would you panic? If you can navigate gaps, delays, or unexpected losses without chaos, that's a major marker of stability that most people overlook. It's not flashy, it's subtle, and it's more telling than a six-figure balance ever could be. Think about the small, everyday choices that shape your finances. Maybe it's what happens when you're scrolling your favorite shopping app late at night. Do you add things to your cart just because they look cool or trendy? Or do you stop and ask yourself, do I really need this? Will I use it next week, next month? Maybe you've held off on a fancy subscription because you realized it wouldn't get used often. Maybe you passed on a high-end kitchen gadget because you own something that does the same job, and the extra cost just isn't worth it. Those micro choices build habits that compound over time. Then there's the social angle. Have you ever chosen a restaurant, a hotel, or a neighborhood because it sends a subtle signal to others about who you are? We all do it to some degree, but noticing it is key. Maybe you bought a certain car thinking it would look impressive to friends, or stayed in a very expensive hotel so you could post it online. Others choose a prestigious college that will put them deeply into debt so their friends and family would be impressed. When people buy things that matter to them rather than trying to impress others, they often realize many of the things they once thought were must-haves weren't necessary at all. Another sign to pay attention to is how often you regret your purchases. People who are truly financially competent rarely feel that sting of buyer's remorse. They pause, think through their options, and make choices that match their priorities and values. This isn't about being cheap or denying yourself. It's about being intentional with your money. In fact, someone earning 7 figures who constantly buys on impulse, chasing trends or the latest things, is often in a weaker financial position than someone making much less but consistently choosing what really matters to them. Now, time is one of the most underrated signs of financial health, and it's not about having nothing to do all day. It's more about what you have to do and what you don't have to do. Could you step back from work for a few months, travel, volunteer, or start a side hustle without panicking about money? Most people wouldn't even consider it. Their budgets are tight, their paychecks fully accounted for, leaving almost no room to pause. People who could afford a short break without immediate stress have a cushion most don't even realize exists. Career flexibility is another major indicator. Could you say yes to a completely different role in a new city or industry? Could you take a lower paying position because it aligns with your goals or passions without worrying about financial collapse? What about a commission-based role that offers more potential but no base pay? Being able to actually act on these ideas without a financial panic is a huge indicator of where you really stand. Even lifestyle adjustments reveal a lot. Could you downsize your house or apartment, sell your car for a simpler one, and just reduce your expenses if you felt like it? Could you live lean for a couple years to invest in a personal goal or a business? People with flexibility don't just survive change, they leverage it to grow, learn, or pivot towards what they really want. Financial freedom is about the choices money enables, not just the numbers in your account. Having the ability to simplify everything is freeing, even if it's just a thought and something you'd probably never do. Sometimes the clearest signs of financial health aren't in the numbers, they're in perspective, habits, and how you feel about money. Maybe 5 years ago, seeing your bank balance caused stress, a pit in your stomach, or a rush of worry about every upcoming bill. Now, the same numbers spark insight. You notice patterns in your spending, spot opportunities to save or invest, and make choices with more confidence. That shift in mindset is a major indicator that you're progressing, even if your net worth isn't yet extraordinary. Progress itself often looks very quiet. Maybe you've started automating even small amounts into savings, or set up a tracking system that actually works and keeps you aware of your inflows and outflows. Maybe you're steadily chipping away at lingering loans or being more careful about what you buy. Each of these actions may feel small in isolation, but together they create real forward momentum, shifting your financial trajectory in a meaningful way. You're building a framework where money works for you, not the other way around. Take a moment to reflect. Can you look back over the past 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, or even 5 years and honestly say, I've made significant progress and I'm in a much stronger position than I was? Being able to say yes separates people who are genuinely improving from those who are simply getting by, living paycheck to paycheck. Being able to notice consistent progress is what signals real competence in financial health. Now here's something most people don't expect. Even people who are financially well off often worry about money. Will my income continue? Will my investments run out? What if the stock market plummets and never recovers? Even wealthy people feel it now and then. The difference is that it's temporary and it doesn't take over your life. You notice it, deal with it, and move on. So thinking, I'll stop worrying when I reach $100,000, $1 million, or $5 million, or whatever that number happens to be, is just not the case. Another twist, you might not feel rich. Maybe you don't have flashy cars or a huge bank balance, but you're also not stressed all the time. Real comfort isn't about looking wealthy. It's about knowing you can cover your bills, handle surprises, and keep life moving without panic. That quiet confidence says a lot more about your security than any luxury purchase ever could. And here's the one that surprises people the most. Saying no actually matters. Skipping a pricey dinner, passing on a fancy item, or saying no to an expensive event doesn't mean deprivation. It's a sign that you're in control. People who can say no are making choices from a place of strength and clarity, not fear. They can spend intentionally, save intentionally, and live life without letting money stress dictate their choices. So being able to decline a purchase means you're in good standing, not coming from a place of lack. Sometimes it takes stepping back to see where you truly stand. Look at your choices, the progress you've made, and the flexibility you've built. You might just realize you're doing far better than you give yourself credit for. Recognizing that is the first step towards feeling confident, capable, and in control of your financial future.